Today, let's talk about the spleen from a Chinese medicine point of view. Now, what I love about Chinese medicine is that it considers the person as a whole. It looks at the physical as well as the emotional. Hi, my name is Sheli, and I own a Qi Gong studio in HaHayil Street, Renana. Let's look at the spleen. So what's the role of the spleen as seen by Chinese medicine? The role of the spleen is all about nourishment. And nourishment comes from three places. It comes from food, comes from thoughts and ideas, and it also comes from relationships. So in Chinese medicine, the spleen is seen as an agent of transformation and nourishment. So what that means is we ingest food, and the spleen, together with the stomach and the pancreas, transform the food into a substance that the body is actually able to use and to absorb. If a person has a very strong spleen, then that person will be very well nourished. And if a person has a weak spleen, that person will be undernourished. And a person can eat really good, healthy food, but not be strong enough to be able to convert that food into nourishment. And on an emotional level, we often see the same thing, that a person can be in a very, very nourishing environment, very, very nourishing relationship, but be unable to absorb that love. Sometimes a person feels unworthy, they feel unable to accept love, if it's, somebody perhaps in a relationship, or maybe it's even a child in a family. Like sometimes you see a family where everybody in the family seems to be doing really, really well, but there just seems to be one child that's really struggling and just not doing so well. And he's in the same environment as every other child, but really what's going on is that because there's an imbalance in the spleen energy, he's unable to absorb that same nourishment as his other siblings are. Physically, from a Chinese medicine point of view, the spleen has got three jobs: digestion, holding the soft tissues of the body in place, and the movement of water around the body. So in terms of digestion, if a person has an imbalance in their spleen energy, they'll often bloat after eating or be very bloated at the end of the day, get upset tummies very easily, have IBS, just general upset to the digestive system, always having digestive problems, lots of gas, perhaps burping, that kind of thing, just things of that nature. In terms of holding all the soft tissues of the body in place, an imbalance in spleen energy will cause a person to bruise easily. This is because the blood vessels are not able to hold the blood in the vessels in place, and it leaks out. So you see bruising, maybe lots of capillaries close to the skin. A person with an imbalance in spleen energy will also have muscle weakness. They get migraines very easily. They can have cold or sweaty hands, even problems with the menstrual bleeding, such as spotting. And another thing about spleen energy is because it holds all the soft tissue in place, another thing that we start to see is that as the energy becomes weaker and weaker, the person has a lot more saggy tissue. So often you'll see that in the arm tissue, hanging down, or just a general movement of the tissues downwards with gravity. And we in the Western world associate that with aging, but in the Chinese medicine world, we associate that with the health of the spleen. And the third function of the spleen, to do with the movement of water through the body, around the body I should say, that's got to do with the inability to lose weight. So what you'll see is somebody with a big belly and that very kind of spongy tissue, and what's happening is that the water is actually starting to leak out of the tissues. The tissues can't hold them, and the water is actually starting to leak out. And I know that for myself, what brought me towards Qigong was I also was really, really struggling with my weight. I could feel that I was retaining water, and nothing that I did made any difference. And from Qigong, I've actually lost 11 kilograms of weight that I could not lose for many, many years. Spleen energy also very much affects our thinking, so our thoughts. And something that we as human beings love to do is we love mental stimulation. We love to go to shiurim, we love to go to museums, we love to read, we love to put information into our minds. And when the spleen energy is imbalanced, our thinking actually becomes very, very unclear. and we get what we call cloudy or foggy thinking and a real lack of clarity in the mind. And sometimes this can manifest as real difficulty in making decisions, and also people can tend towards overthinking things and worrying. So the key word with the spleen energy when it's imbalanced, affecting the mind, is the word worry. You know, there's some people that just worry about absolutely everything. So it's almost like they're getting indigestion from their thoughts. Their thoughts are just sitting there spinning round and round and round, and it's causing a lot of worry and anxiety. So what does a healthy spleen feel like? Well, when the spleen is nice and healthy and balanced, a person feels very contented. There's a lovely sense of inner peace, and you just feel really, really nice in your own body. And we become less needy. We become able to nourish ourselves from within instead of needing the external to always make us feel good. And I think from my own experience from doing Qigong, this has been one of the most valuable things for me. I feel peaceful and happy, and just happy without a reason. And that's actually something that is a thing in Qigong, about being happy without a reason. Because, as I've even seen in Pirkei Avot, is that if something external makes you happy, the second that external thing is taken away from you, your happiness is gone. And the most beautiful thing about Qigong is that we balance all the energy inside the body so that you feel nice and peaceful, and we don't need anything external to make us feel good. It just comes naturally from within. So Qigong is a form of Chinese medicine that works on the acupuncture meridians, and through movement we do a form of exercise and movement that stretches and massages the acupuncture meridians and gets the body to balance itself and bring itself into healing. My name is Sheli, and I have a Qigong studio in HaHayil Street, Renana. Please come and try a free class. Thank you.